We're going to be underway for what is going to be a 15-minute race any moment now because the red lights are on. Quite a long hold before they go out. Good start by Anthony Seddon from the outside of the front row. He's got his car almost ahead of Matthew Highcock's car into turn one, Oulton corner. Crucially, almost. Has he managed to make that stick, though, as they come out of Oulton for the first time? I think he might have done, one or two running quite wide, using a bit of the grass as well as the green concrete on the exit of Oulton corner. But they've all got through safely, I think, for the moment, down towards the left-hander at Cascades they go, and it is Anthony Seddon that's got the lead of the race car number 5, but Matthew Highcock in the treble 5 car is absolutely alongside him and trying to pick up on the toe as well. There is Rob Carvel in number 59, and it's Highcock that does sweep back through into the lead at Island, reclaiming his P1 from pole position, and it's Seddon back to second, Carvel third, and I think it's Alan Caulfield in fourth position at the moment as the rest of the field make their way through. Peter Keane looks like he's top dog in the 116s, and one or two getting a bit too close to our camera.
Well, 3 abreast through Shell Oil's hairpin. I've never seen that work to date, and it wasn't really working there either. There was a car very, very high and off onto the grass. The problem is the grass is generally flat, so it's like a plateau on the top of a hugely banked corner, so you'll struggle to get back onto the road that quickly, to be honest, and there is a barrier just the other side of our camera position as well, so hopefully everyone has wriggled free of that incident without too much damage. I noticed John Turner's now fallen back within the 116s at only one place though, so the booted car, which is the 6th of the 120s, car number 88, now actually running in 7th place. Terrific fight between Matthew Highcock and Anthony Seddon, though, to be side by side for such a long time. There goes Turner to be back in amongst, at least as far as the timing screen is concerned, the 120s. He's got a bit of ground to make up, of course, on the overall top 5, but he's now the right side of the 116 leader. But it's Highcock, Seddon, Rob Carvel, I thought was going to try and split the two of them heading for Island Bend, but he thought better of that. And the dark blue Carvel car is in 3rd position at the line.
Absolutely right. So end of lap 1, it's Highcock leading, number 555 by 1.007 seconds from Seddon. Meanwhile, I think, Turner's got himself back into P6 overall in the 120, so that all the 116s are together, and that you could see was 151 Peter Keane from 25 Ethan Hall and the 228 car of James Waring. Up on the point situation after race 1 in the 120s, Matthew Highcock leading with 123, Anthony Seddon 105, and George Healer, who's not here today I don't think, has 86. And in the 116s, it's Will Abraham 95, and he was well back on the grid in this race. Peter King 93, Jack Godden 83, level with Ethan Hall, indebted as ever to Josh Barrett for the update on the point situation in between races. There's a good battle going on in the 116s a little bit further down the order. I think that was Will Abraham trying to find a way through, possibly past the 249 car of Scott Jeffs.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd certainly identified Jeffs. I just haven't realised who was on his tail, but we got to the bottom of it together. And Jeff's under big pressure then, leaving Shell Oils and heading for Britain Chicane. Lots of curb taken there by the 151 car. So 151 Peter Keane. Oh, but a spin further back. That might be Luke Fox in 121. Yeah, so he is going to lose ground and does rejoin, but right in a really busy part of the racetrack. You're going to struggle to find anything quiet, to be honest, in amongst these 116s, and quite a significant chunk of places lost there, because obviously Luke's going to take a bit of time to then get back up to full speed, and they are not hanging around on that run over Hilltop and down towards here at Knickerbrook.
That's right, very busy circuit that we have here today in the 120 Coupe Cup and 116 Trophy. Still working our way around lap 2, just coming to the end of it now, and it's going to be Matthew Highcock that's going to cross the line in the lead of the race. Can tell you well ahead of the rest. We're watching the 116s stream through. There's the 212, so we had 121, there's 212, that's AJ Duffel, the two teammates together there. AJ Duffel from Birmingham, Luke Fox from Barnsley. They are only separated by a couple of cars on track now as well, it would seem, as they turn their way through Lodge Corner. There, though, is Peter Keane, Ethan Hall and James Waring. The 17-year-old is with him there in the 228 car, the teenager from Garstang, college student in his 2nd season of racing. part of the Matt Highcock racing team. You'll have seen the similar livery on his car. Had a win last year at Snetterton in the endurance races, and possibly has an eye on single-seaters next year in F1000. He was saying on his driver profile form, but for now he's focused on the 2 cars ahead of him, Peter Keane and Ethan Hall, in very close formation.
They certainly are, with a gap of 4 or 5 car lengths, perhaps then back to 3rd position in that category. So John Turner, having wriggled free in car number 88, may, as he did in the earlier race today, struggle to keep pace with the top 5 overall. Headed by Matthew Highcock, Anthony Seddon in second. Rob Carvell not able to find a way through at the moment, but there is Peter Keane, and followed Ethan Hall in the blue, well, two-tone blue and pink number 25. And at very close quarters now is the addition to the programme, although not on this page in fairness, James Waring. He'll be in addition to the final race of the day in number 228.
Certainly will. As we're watching, Jack Gordon's gone through there. There is Will Abraham, and he is in 13th position at the moment. They all benefited on the previous lap from Fox's spin. He dropped 9 positions as a result of that, so everyone else shuffled forward 1. But Will Abraham not making the progress that he would have hoped for in this race, and it looks like Peter Keane, if things stay as they are, will take the lead of the 116 Sprint Trophy Championship, leaving Oulton Park and heading to Snetterton for the next meeting in a few weeks' time. Only 2 weeks, actually, I think it is, before the meeting at Snetterton comes around. There's the 120s. Anthony Seddon has got Rob Carvell behind him. There's only 0.2 of a second separating them at the start of the lap. They're 3.7 seconds now behind the leader, Matthew Highcock, the driver from Manchester. But it's Anthony Seddon there, local man from Tarpley, just ahead of Nuneaton's Rob Carvell. Lots of the drivers are based not too far here from Oulton Park. There's quite a northwest bias towards this 116 Sprint Trophy, 120 Coupe Cup. Lots of drivers based in this area. There's Highcock in the lead of the race. We've not seen much of him on the live stream throughout the day, really, because he's just been so dominant. It's not been very interesting to watch him, really, in comparison to some of the other battles that we've had. I mean, it got a little bit interesting at the start because he didn't get away from the line particularly well. But since then, he's had it plain sailing, and Seddon has had Carvell and Caulfield for very close company. There is Highcock there. Say last year's 116 Sprint Trophy champion. Now he's switched to the 120s and is also busy running cars. Several drivers have opted to run with his outfit. There's a moment there. That is the 18 car, which is Alan Caulfield for this race, not George Healer, whose name is on the side of the car. And he's had a moment, and he's dropped out, therefore, of 4th position.
Real shame, but it's not a quick recovery either, because you'll probably have to thread your way through those plastic boxes on the cut-through road, the run-off road, but it's designed deliberately so that you can't then gain momentum up Clay Hill and to make the rejoin as safe as possible. So leaders in the meantime are heading through Lodge Corner and Deer Leap and back across the stripe. It is still Matthew Highcock with that lead, and much more intense for second and third, just as it was earlier in the day. In actual fact, Anthony Seddon up against Rob Carvell. And remember, we wind the clock back to race 1. These two, from memory, started to get involved with one another. And then cars like David Williams were able to latch onto the back. And in the end, Carvell went from 2nd to 5th in one fell swoop. So we'll be looking to try and avoid that. At the same time, trying to finish one step higher than he currently is on the podium.
Right, so 6 minutes of this race left. We've got black and white driving standards flag going out to somebody. I think the 1-2-1 car, yeah, Luke Fox. That probably makes sense given his various exploits during the course of the race so far. There is the fight for the 116 trophy lead. Peter Keane 151, Ethan Hall 25, and 228 is James Waring in 3rd. Those three were separated by just over a second at the start of this lap. Jack Gordon was another second or so behind them, so not too far away. It's not quite had the intensity of the first race, I don't think, this second race so far, but there's time for it to bubble up yet. Another few laps maybe. We had an 8-lap race in race 1, working lap 5, so still another 3.5 laps to go, I'd suggest, in this one. And, as I say that, Peter Keane goes a bit wide on the exit of Shallow Corner. That gives a bit of encouragement to Ethan Hall to try and get alongside him maybe on the way into Britain. Took back in behind him for now, really trying to follow single file through that part of the circuit. Maybe see if he can mount an attack down towards his.
Reasonably good exit from Ethan Hall coming out of Britain's, and you've got to keep the momentum up as you pull through the gears, heading uphill over Hilltop and then back down towards Hislops with the 116 scrap. Getting a tad closer now to the recovering Alan Caulfield's all-white car. So Caulfield was running in 4th position at the time of his spin, and that has benefited number 21 David Williams, who now runs in 4th, together with John Turner up a spot as well, because Caulfield wasn't able to get into the race until those two cars had headed by, both 120Is. But with the 116s, Peter Keane, try as he might, cannot shake Ethan Hall. And now Ethan Hall still with that company of James Waring in car 228. There's a bit of a gap, then back to Jack Godden. Give him maybe another lap and he could make it a 4-way fight for the 116s, as now sadly Alan Caulfield is going to come into pit lane in maybe a damaged, after the spin, number 18.
Yeah, as the 116s go over the line. Well, we've had 5 different winners so far this season in the 116s. James Waring, Jack Gordon, Luke Fox, Will Abraham, and this morning Peter Keane. As Josh Barrett has just pointed out to me, if Ethan Hall can get past Peter Keane, that'll make it 6 different winners in the first 6 rounds of the season in the 116 Sprint Trophy. Whatever happens, it shows how competitive this championship is. But if we get 6 winners from 6 different races, that's something that doesn't happen very often, is it?
It's true. I seem to remember a Formula 1 season a good few years ago where the first 7 races were won by 7 different people, but that happens so rarely in Formula 1. In the 116 Trophy, I think it's all about, a little tiny mistake leading, or speaking of which, leading to bigger issues. And that's the 83 of Sammy Oulton facing towards the apex at Cascades. And it's going to be tricky if the car is stalled to get that away in a hurry.
Was it the 83 or the 93?
That's very difficult.
Debate about this earlier on, didn't we?
I get those mixed up a lot. If it wasn't the 83, then it was the 93, who is
Lawrence Johnson.
Yes, good memory. Side by side.
Yeah, and it's James Waring trying to get around the outside of Ethan Hall and sort of muscle his way past. Hall's off on the grass. Is he going to lose another place because of that? Yes, he is, I think, to Jack Godden, who's alongside him now and has the momentum. Oh, and he uses a bit of elbow as well to keep Ethan Hall at bay. And we were talking a few moments ago, I blame Josh Barrett for this, about Ethan Hall being our 6th different winner in 6 races this season. Now he's back down to 4th place, and with only 1 more lap, I think, to go at the end of this one, he's got a tall order to make that work. It's looking like it's going to be probably Peter Keane, but possibly Jack Godden, who's possibly James Waring, I should say, who's on a bit of a flyer now. But Keane has made a bit of a break at the front now in the 116 division. Yeah,
just turning right at Lodge Corner now. So the fight is on between Godden, who may have been carrying a little bit of damage in the earlier race. I'm fearful that maybe some bodywork has been bent onto a tyre, but there's no immediate smoke coming from the rear of Jack Godden's car. Godden, I think, was just saying, well, if you don't give me space, Ethan, I'm going to end up out in the grass. And now there's a squirrely moment for 249 Scott Jeffs down at Old Hall Corner. That might have been as a result of a slight tap, because the rear right corner of that bumper has worked its way loose. Nice to see that racing can continue through Cascade. So whether it was the 83 or the 93 stranded there, they have managed to recover themselves, and providing this ability to race so closely, because Godden now has the inside line on Waring, and they turn as one through Ireland, but that will give Jack Godden 2nd place in the 116s.
Yeah, those two shared the wins at Brands Hatch for the opening meeting of the season, but it is Godden now in that red and black car that has gone through, with behind him now Waring and Ethan Hall tucking in behind him. But Peter Keane's advantage was about 3 seconds at the start of this lap amongst the 116s, so he was well clear. Similar gap really to Matthew Highcock at the front of the field overall. He's not going to be too far away from taking the checker flag. We've just seen the cars go past 212, which is AJ Duffel. His car is stopped by the side of the road as well, as Matthew Highcock has just come through. Sorry, yeah, he's just completed his 7th lap, hasn't he? So he's got 1 more lap to go. He's now on to his final lap. There he is. Just confusing myself there. and he's got now 2.8 seconds in hand over 7, so that gap has come down a little bit this time, as we're watching Jack Godden, James Waring and Ethan Hall climb up Clay Hill towards Druids. This is complete lap 7, the clock's counted down to 0, so they're going to have just one more lap to go at the end of this to decide second place in the 116s.
It was Lawrence Johnson who spun at Cascades. I got that wrong again. Dear me. It's straight to the optician, I think, at the end of this race meeting, maybe tomorrow morning.
How many 116s can you see now on the screen?
18. Well, there are 3 within frame, and this is for second, third and fourth positions. Jack Godden just about with the edge over Waring as they stream across the line, though. And it's a great drive from Peter Keane, again, to be at the head of the order.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's had a couple of good races here. It's going to be the first double winner of the season in the 116 Sprint Trophy by the looks of it. Meanwhile, Matthew Highcock looks like he's going to come home for yet another victory. His 5th of the season, 5th in a row as well in the 120 Coupe Cup, and on home territory as well, although it's equally home territory for Anthony Seddon as well, I should say, in second place. Ethan Hall is still looking for a podium here in the 116s. He gets alongside James Waring, but that's the outside line for Ireland, and he's off on the grass there. Now, how many cars will appear in shot when they get to our static camera at Shell Oil's corner? Ethan Hall is in the gravel. Yeah, Ethan Hall just behind the timing tower there is in the gravel trap after all of that. Meanwhile, Matthew Highcock is coming through to take the checkered flag, his second win of the day in the 120 Coupe Cup, so congratulations to him. He has the victory then. Second place is going to go the way of Anthony Seddon. The gap between them 4.1 seconds in the end, and Rob Carvel third. So a bit of a quieter race among the 120s that time. Not necessarily the case among the 116s.
Certainly not, because the fight is still on, this time between the treble one of Sousa, and all over the back of him is 252. So nose to tail, James Dunn trying to pressurise this mistake as they run up towards, or pressurise into a mistake, up Clay Hill they go for the final time. So Peter Keane will be very, very happy that he is clear of all of this chaos. But after several cars have paired off, I seem to remember they did this in the earlier race, those little battles are not quite decided. I'd say Jack Godden's got the edge though over James Waring, so they will be the cars that finish on the podium, and it's been a dominant drive for the win in 116, Ian.
Yeah, it certainly has. Peter Keane has let the 3 of them scrap behind, or 3 or 4 of them at one time. Ethan Hall ended his race in the gravel trap, just was a little bit too bold in his move to try and get back onto the podium. So it was Jack Godden second, James Waring third, and Will Abraham, after all of that, did come back to 4th position amongst the 116s. And so we'll pick up some useful points in the class. He was leading the class coming into this race, trying to work out what that might have done. I think Peter Keane will have gone ahead of him, yes, because he was only 2 points behind. So I think Peter Keane will now have the 116 lead. I think Abraham will probably hold on to second as a result of that. Our first double winner of the season in the 116s is indeed Peter Keane. And there in the background of shot, now we've got rid of the timing tower, you can see Ethan Hall's car. I'm afraid that did look a little bit inevitable, and it was when they left our site, Johnny, that it was not going to come around Charlotte's corner.
Well, when you're pushing that hard and you 2 abreast through islands, there's always the chance of the outside car running out of road, and it was 2 wheels on the grass, make that 4 wheels on the grass, and then I was very concerned that the BMW may rotate. It looked like it did. And it's so easy then for the car to whip back across the racetrack, potentially collecting other cars in the process, and hit the barrier on driver's left, and it's Armco along there, which can easily give. So I was sort of half pleased to see Ethan Hall's car make it as far as the gravel trap, albeit facing the wrong way, because there can be some huge incidents there as a car loses the rear end. These rear-wheel drive cars very easily done that, even though the grass has had some rain in recent weeks. Dry grass is even worse and offers no grip whatsoever. But let's hope that Ethan Hall's car is not too badly damaged. It's really difficult to tell from our angle, and it will need to be recovered either with a lift or a tow, and then when he gets it back he'll be able to assess. And that is AJ Duffield, also in the wars. It was carrying a bit of scarring when I went down to see both that car and Luke Fox in the team colours, and I think that's just tyre rub on the front left and right bumper, and that is just beyond Britain's chicane, isn't it?
It is. It's a straight toe that is needed for Ethan Hall by the looks of it, as well as for AJ Duffel as well. So not going to need a lift, so shouldn't be too long in terms of a delay. Remind then a win for number 555 Matthew Highcock at the end of 8 laps of racing. He won by 4.1 seconds on number 5 Anthony Seddon. Third went the way of number 59 Rob Carvell. Fourth place to number 21, which was David Williams. Fifth was number 88, John Turner. Sixth and winning the 116s was 151, Peter Keane. Seventh was number 71, Jack Godden. Eighth was 228, James Waring. Ninth was 209, Will Abraham. And running out the top 10 was 249, Scott Jeffs, ahead of Antonio Sousa, James Dunn, Lewis Charlton, and Luke Fox as well in 14th position. And now you can see the rest of the field. I think we had 22 finishes in the end, with Giles Carter being the last to make it home. So that's it for the 116 Sprint Trophy 120 Coupe Cup, although several of those cars will be out in the Ultimate BMW race at the end of the day as well. So we will look forward to seeing those. Just looking over to see where Kieran Mogg is and if he's close to being able to speak to drivers at the end of the that race. Have a quick word with the drivers. He's over there in Parc Fermé now, just waiting for everyone to get, I think, into position and ready to talk to him. Just a few moments away, I think, from hearing from him. Yeah, he's there, I can see now in Parc Fermé, so we'll head down now to Kieran Mogg for more successful drivers in the 116 Sprint and 120 Coupe Cup.
Thank you very much, and I'm joined here with Matthew Highcock again.
Oh,
another win.
Yeah, no, it was a good race. The start was brilliant. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Side by side through the first few corners. Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah.
Then you kind of just drove away towards the middle of the race as well.
Yeah, I mean, the tyres were overheating towards the middle of the race, so I had to slow down a bit, cool them down, and then go again. But yeah, the car's handling really well.
Obviously, a nice way to go into the weekend. Two wins. Obviously, champion last year, 2 wins already in this. You're leading the championship. What can go wrong?
A lot can go wrong. No, yeah, it's going well. It's going very well. And touch wood, the car's been brilliant. Yeah, I'm really happy with that car. So.
And if it continues going this way, what do you reckon for the end of the season, maybe next year?
I honestly don't know. I've been looking at options. It's a case of what I can afford, really. So this is cheap, and you know, it's a good car. It's good racing. So it depends what I can find, really. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the 2 wins, and look forward to seeing you the next time.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so we have our 116 winner, Peter Keane, coming over. Peter, you are the first multiple race winner of the season. Yes.
Oh, right, I didn't know that. Yeah, wicked. Yeah, no, car again was mega. Like, was massive out in front. Ethan, you know, was pushing me hard. Managed to stay out in front, and then as soon as I sort of got a little gap and sort of broke the toe with Ethan, and they sort of started playing about with each other, it just made me get a bit of a gap, get my head down again, and just drive away. So well happy. Like, car was brilliant. Yeah, mega day really. Mega. Well, I was going to say weekend, but yeah, we haven't got the endurance tomorrow. But yeah, mega day. Like, super happy. Like, massive championship points. Excellent. Like, couldn't be happy. Honestly, brilliant.
And same as earlier, it's like it was a proper cluster of cars.
It was so tough, you know. Everyone's so equal. It's obviously, you know, one make series are so equal, and you know, the slightest little mistake and they're on you, you know, and you've got to be super calm, you know, make sure everything's right, braking points, turn-ins, everything like that. And if you just stay in front and you can get that gap, and then if they fight behind you, you can just get that little cushion. And once you get that cushion, you can just, you know, not worry in your mirrors. You know, you can just stick to your lines, stick lap times in, and just drive away. So yeah, it was nice at the end. There was no panicking, just nice drive. I drive to the finish, you know. So yeah, super happy, mega happy, like wicked day. So really happy.
Awesome, congratulations, 2 wins. Can't ask for more.
Very much. No, perfect. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much. All right, so yeah, we've got a couple of people. Unfortunately, we're having a bit of an issue. So Johnny, stay there. I'm going to go and grab. Perfect. Yeah, come on, both of you. Why not?
We had a mega race with this man.
You both did. It was amazing.
Yeah. It's good to be on the podium again, but Anthony's done the bigger step, so he's there.
Yeah, well, I tried for the first step, and we were side by side for about 2 or 3 corners, but I just couldn't hold it. And then I had this guy nibbling at me for a couple of laps.
I think the first lap for me was one of the highlights I've ever. Any race I've done was just awesome, and a real classy company as well. So well done, everyone.
Yeah, same for me. Mega race. Thank you very much for such fun.
Yeah, cheers.
Till the next time.
Yeah, 100%. Just one quick question as well. So obviously Matt had a very good season last year in the 116s.
Yeah.
He started off pretty strong in the 120s.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Keep trying. There is another championship that I'm in anyway, because I'm a master. Yeah. I'm a 61-year-old. So, you know, what's his excuse? Yeah. My excuse is age. What's your excuse?
Well, I turn 50 this year, so I'm not eligible for Masters until next year. So I'll take you on next year for that.
Racing Driver Experience has got a little. Well, congratulations, guys, on the podium.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Cheers, thank you. All right, we'll grab the 2nd and 3rd place of the 116s now. So. And again, we've got Jack Godden. Jack, again, that was a proper battle.
It was quite nice. I was just watching it on the most part, and then when I caught up, the seas just parted, and I just drove straight on. I let them get on with it behind, and that was that. It was quite nice.
Obviously, it's quite a tight track as well, so how difficult is it to try and find those positions and try and find the place to actually get past them?
I find it a bit easier around here, I think, because there's so many corners, so it takes one person to make a slight mistake and suddenly you've got the momentum. It's just a bit of a ballsy move when you have to do it.
Well, obviously, ending with a P2. Could ask for maybe the P1, but, you know, it's very, very close.
Pete was just too far ahead. He had a great day, and when they started fighting for second, he was gone. There was no chance of catching him back up.
Maybe next time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look forward to it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you very much. All right, so we've got our P3 now, which is James Waring. James, if you just come on over here. Again, very, very busy day for you.
Yeah, well, going into that race, I wasn't feeling very confident, to be honest. The car just hasn't been on the pace all weekend, but I got a good start, ended up in P3, and then just went lap after lap, and it got to near the end laps. Ethan made a mistake. I tried to go for a move around the outside, and then into the second corner of the chicane, I just had nowhere to go other than the wall or him, so it had to be a bit of a barge there, but it was both hard racing from both of us, and then luckily I got the podium, so I'm happy with this. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, it's been a day of action-packed racing from the 116s, and as it always is. So, looking forward to the rest of the championship. What are your expectations? Where are you hoping to get to?
Well, after Thruxton, not being able being a DNF and a DNS, I think I was about 9th. So I tried to just forget about it, take every race by race on its own, and see where we end up at the end. But at the moment, I'm just trying to take a race at a time and hopefully go away from some silverware.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on P3.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.